Hey everybody, Ben here from Cinderblock Studios, and today I am outside of Black Star Tattoo in Belle Vernon, PA to interview a good friend of mine, Jake Steele. His name basically screams Pittsburgh with a name like Steele. So let's go ahead in and get this started. Alright, so I'm inside now, and I'm here with Jake Steele, who is hard at work finishing up this particular piece. So I think as a good introduction, for those that maybe don't know who you are, kind of just give yourself your own introduction, what you do, and that's it.
My name is Jake Steele. I kind of don't like that name, so you could just call me Bob. And I am a tattoo artist from Belle Vernon, Pennsylvania. I've been born and raised in Belle Vernon, and I've always been an artist since I can remember, and I guess it has led me to this, to do tattoos, because I couldn't work a normal job because I was too crazy, and that's me.
So a fun one to start with is always, where did you first sort of encounter art? Something you saw when you were a little kid, or maybe painting in a museum, or a tattoo on somebody. What exactly like first caught your attention? Like, oh, that's a thing.
My earliest interest in art was cartoons and animation, and like I guess Japanese anime I was really into. I was like really obsessed with old Action Cartoon Network cartoons, a lot of Nickelodeon shows, because I feel like I didn't have like an artistic upbringing at all, and that was like the only thing I really had access to was cartoons. And to this day, like, it's still a huge inspiration of mine, and it's something I really want to get into. And I do a lot of like character design, and I'm always like thinking of crazy situations and things I could put these weird creatures into.
That's awesome. So a lot of people actually have sort of more of a family support, but it seems like you were kind of just building yourself up from scratch in a lot of ways. Yeah,
I mean, I always had support from my family to do well, but none of them were artists, so they really didn't really understand some of the things I was doing. I don't know how they took it. They were really concerned with me having a good education, but at various points in my life, they were always like, "Jake, art's your hobby. Music's your hobby. You can't do that professionally. You can't do it." And I'm like, "Well, why can't I? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that?" And I don't know. I really feel like, especially in the area that I'm from, it's very culturally deprived, and it wasn't encouraged in our education system. And I never really had formal art training, but I really clung on to like middle school art class. That changed my life, because it was one thing, like I found it, and I was like the art nerd kid after that. And I don't know, it just kind of carried on.
So for you, it really clicked.
It clicked.
So you hit your art programs in primary school, and you're kind of getting like, yeah, okay, this is getting.
I'm like, I want to do this. I remember in 4th grade, I made a whole series of like Pokemon-esque cards, and like all these little characters with all these little stats, and like I was real obsessed with like all the toys that were collectible, like the Pokemon, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pogs, any little nichey, like Crazy Bones, anything that was character driven and had these like big elaborate crazy backstories. I was always just like, I want to do that when I grow up.
Awesome, man. So obviously, you graduate high school, you move on to college. So what was the college experience for you? From what I understand, I don't think you went to an art school. You went to Pitt, I think.
I went to Pitt at Greensburg.
Okay.
So it was like a branch campus. My college experience was like pretty like drab because I was a commuter. And
did you choose to major in art, or were you choosing perhaps a different major?
I actually majored in chemistry.
Okay, that's very different.
Yeah, I was always the type of person that, like, if I put my mind to it, I'm gonna do it, and I was always really confident, and like I knew because I worked hard, and like I was, I guess, intelligent, that like I could potentially do whatever career path I wanted. But my biggest direction, like my grandfather wanted me to do business, which now I look back, and if he ever watches this, I will admit that you were right the whole time. But, I was just always fascinated with science. Like, I loved it. Like, I love all nerdy, weird little things. And to this day, like, I tell people, like, I'm, like, a huge nerd. And they're like, no, you're cool, dude. You're a tattoo artist. I'm like, I am, like, not comic book nerd, not movie nerd, like, read a book nerd. Like, I'm there. Like, I'm at that level. Like, I read every label of every thing I eat, except recently when I ate something I was allergic to. The one time I didn't read the label, ended up in the ER.
A day before the interview.
A day before this interview.
You are a trooper. So I think, so you're interested in art, focusing on chemistry in college, but everyone sort of has a catalyst moment where it's like, okay, no, I definitely want to do art and I want to do it professionally. What was that moment for you, and sort of what brought you to that sort of realization?
Well, I've always been a musician, and I've always like had big dreams of being like a rock star. I've always been fascinated with that culture, and again, my area is like very culturally limited. Like, I live out in the sticks, and it was always like had to travel an hour here, an hour there, just to be like exposed to any kind of culture for like that day, and then I would go back and everything I learned about it, I would just practice. But I joined a band right after high school. We were called the Spiffies. And for the first time in my life, I felt like, wow, I belong somewhere. And like I had confidence. I actually worked with my best friend in there named Zach. He was the drummer in my band. And he was always into like standing out and like body mods and like trying to be this like rock star image. And like, to me, like, I was always a nerdy, like, little white dude that was studying chemistry and, like, real good at school and, like, never got laid in high school type of dude. And so when I met Zach, it really, like, opened my eyes to, wow, maybe, like, I can look cool. Maybe I can do something that's not, like, science related or, like, book smart related or anything like that. And he brought me into a tattoo shop 2 years into my college, and I literally walked through the door, and I had always been an artist. Like, I had always done it, and I've always been fascinated, like I said, with the early on shit, and always been into the music. And then when I stepped foot into a tattoo shop, like, this was some kind of like magical realm that like I could not even conceive ever existed. And I don't know, I literally fell in love with it and was like, this is what I'm doing. I went home that night and started sketching up tattoos. And that's when I knew, I'm like, I'm pretty much done pursuing this chemistry bullshit. I'm like, I can do this? I can be doing this? They've lied to me. So I felt.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It kind of leads me in with so you actually do a lot of different media. You're a lot like me, and you have sort of a focus. You do a lot of acrylic painting and the tattoo work.
Yeah.
But you seem to do kind of just about everything you can get your hands on. I've seen you do some incredible portraiture that's like, crap, you can do this too. But in particular with, I think, acrylic paint as well as tattooing, like you said, going into the parlor, what brought you to those mediums?
Well, essentially, like, acrylic paint was the only thing you could buy at Walmart, so that's what I started on. But, it was, Honestly, yeah, it was. Whatever I could get my hands on, I was doing it. Like, I remember just going to Goodwill so much and just buying paintings and just spray painting them, drawing over them, doing like weird abstract paintings on them, trying to do like some surrealism stuff on them, and anything. Go out in the woods, find some sticks that were cool. Like, anything. Had a skateboard. All right, how can I make this different than it once was? The guitars, like, I'm always just, I don't know. I like getting my hands on shit and doing it. I have like real bad ADD, I guess. I guess that's what they're blaming the things on these days.
So then I guess like with tattooing and having that open up that world to you, I mean, like, for me it's inconceivable how you like walk in and go, okay, I want to start tattooing. Like that is between the pens and the inks and like all the stuff that goes along with that. Like, it's like, where do you even start? You know. Like, so was it about like, hey, I'm gonna get a tattoo and then you want to learn more, or is it?
Well, I went and I got a tattoo, and I was just like, I could do this. Like, I don't know. And I went on the internet, of course, very cliche. I'm in the fine state of Pennsylvania, and I'm one of those people that most tattoo artists do not like, the alleged scratchers. I was that for a while. And I pretty much just taught myself everything about it, or didn't teach myself. Obviously, I went seeking the knowledge and like traveled and learned, but I took the initiative to just go about it and do things that way.
Nice. Now, one thing I've heard, several things I've heard, are different ways to practice. And I've heard everything from like animal skin to doing one on yourself first. How much of that is actually true? I mean, I know it might depend a little bit depending on the individual artist and the individual tattoo parlor. But is there any truth to any of that?
What I did, they sold, I guess, this like practice skin off the internet. It actually came in the kit that I bought the machines in, and I used that. I like drew like up some like cherry blossoms, and I did like a Growlithe from Pokemon, the character, and then I just went straight to my friend's foot. And the story is actually like I was running an extension cord out of my bedroom onto the picnic table in my front yard because my mom said, you are not doing that in the house. And it was like 90 degrees out, and I'm tattooing my homie Zach's foot, and he's like, dude, I'm about to puke. Bro, this is the worst pain of my life. Bro, fucking, bro, seriously. And I'm just like, shut up, you pussy. Like, it don't even hurt. Like, drill it on him. And then the second one was right on my leg, and then the third one was on my leg, and then the fourth one was on my leg, and I just kept tattooing my leg. And I just would try to find, I guess, guinea pigs. Like a couple cousins early on let me tattoo them. A couple random people were like, oh, I heard you doing them tattoos. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's hit it up. Like, I've tattooed in some pretty heinous situations. I remember one time, like, I don't know, this is pretty, Mom, sorry, but like I tattooed a drug dealer in the bathroom of a mentally handicapped man's trailer before. I've put myself in some weird situations. Well,
I guess if they're paying customers, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And then he didn't pay me, so it was it was even worse. Actually, I think I charged him $40. And he was like, bro, I only got 20. And I was like, okay, man, that's fine.
That might be a good contender for probably like worst commission ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, now you're doing like, larger client work. This one I thought of earlier is that, do you still kind of feel like you're going to mess something up? Like you're going to make a line that wasn't there and like, crap, this has owned someone forever?
It keeps getting worse. You know what I mean? Like, instead of, like, I'm confident, but it just keeps getting, like, it's more like when they get up and look in the mirror, I'm just like shitting my pants every single time. Like it doesn't go away. I'm like, fuck, like picking out these little niche-y, like random things that I see, and I'm just, I don't know, I'm never really satisfied. But I mean, it's hard to say when you're like doing tattoos and telling a client, hey, I'm not completely satisfied with this. Like, so you gotta have like some level of confidence going into it.
Right. I mean, I think every artist has that to some degree. Like, I very few of my paintings where I feel I'm super confident on. So, but again, once you kind of hit that professional work, and you just kind of have to be like, yeah, I'm sure, I'm very confident in that. So we met in sort of what I call the urban art community in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Through various shows and things. I'm curious what brought you to those sort of venues and how you sort of found that kind of thing.
So that's interesting, because like I said, like to me, like all of that shit has always been a far cry. And like just getting out and traveling like the country and shit and seeing it that way, like I don't know. I might go to a convention and make no money like I just did, like I'm actually in the negatives pretty hardcore, but to me being able to like go to a random state and show people my portfolio, I'm like, holy shit, like I literally started this shit in my bedroom, and it just like it humbles me every time, and I'm really just appreciative of being able to go out places and do this shit. But the first traveling series was just getting up and going to Pittsburgh. Like I would get up, I graduated college, so that's really when I started like taking the art shit professionally, and I got like a confidence to like, hey, contact this venue, contact this person, go on Craigslist. So I was just like on Craigslist, on the internet, like doing all this shit just to find these random little niche opportunities. And the first one that I found was a raw artist showcase, which that seemed like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this. It was pretty cool. I ended up like, that was like my first big art show, like, and I met people, and I could like, I think I learned of Chris, which Chris is a very important and great person in my life, and he touched my heart, and he really, like, I don't know, he opened it up. And I have a good buddy, Steve Pierce, and I think he said the same thing. Like, I was a loser, and all of a sudden I was a part of something, and I don't know, it changed my life. Like, so a series of random little networks, I found Chris, and I remember dropping off some like crappy old paintings to Delaney's Coffee in the South Side, and met this zany dude, and didn't know that he was going to become like a good friend of mine, and like be just such a like successful man himself, like, because he had humble beginnings as well. And ever since then, I met you, I met a dude named Bob Fryer. He's always been a great dude. And there's just so many people that like my friend McKenna, I don't know, and it made me like keep going and going and going, and like then I started traveling with the tattoos, and then I started, that was like a big turning point with all that. I just felt like, man, I can do this live painting. I started just being zany. I remember I did an art show called Art Attack, and I got up there, first thing I did was take all my clothes off and get in my underwear, and Stoff was
I remember seeing pictures
yeah,
of that show.
Stoff was interviewing everybody, and he asked my penis a question in front of like 200 people, and I was just like, yeah, what up? Actually, first thing he said was, Jake Steele, this is like a porn star or something, and I was like, fuck yeah.
That's
why I hate my name.
Yeah.
No one ever just calls me Jake. It's like, Jake Steele, what up? It's like, bro, like, I don't call you your last name.
As long as you never tell somebody you work in movies, I think you're okay.
Yeah. I'm Jake Steele.
What do you do? I work in the movies. Oh, okay.
You know, the adult film industry.
Oh, man. So, yeah, it's within, I would say, that community, there's definitely a lot of it's great opportunities. You meet people all the time. But what are some of the challenges that come along with that? You talk a lot about traveling into the city. I was, just to get here, it was about an hour out, which was about what it is into the city for a lot of those shows. But like outside of travel, what are the challenges do you face in going to these shows and in traveling with your tattoo work and all those things?
So the energy and the money and the grit and gristle involved in kind of small-timey, like, traveling, like, because I'm, you know what I mean, I'm just this little dude from Belle Vernon, like, I don't know, I just feel like such an outsider to every community I'm in, even though that's not true, but just kind of what I think. And traveling out and doing these things, it's like the last one, like, I lost like $1,000, and that was like a real hurt piece on me. And there's that aspect, everything's a risk. And then everything's like, you have to pack up all your shit, you have to go there, set up, you forget shit. You don't know anyone, so it's a weird situation. You don't know how people are running the show, so you gotta figure it out. And then there's just like copious amounts of other artists and all this confusion and all this crazy shit going on. And just getting to the point where like, hey, alright, I'm set up for the tattoo is just like, for me, I don't know, it's like daunting. And then by the time someone comes and walks up and wants a tattoo, you're just like, I'm fucking exhausted. And that's before you have to like cram yourself in these heinous little positions and like not know this person and not know how they're gonna react, and just, I don't know, it's hard all around traveling, especially on an airplane with all your shit lugging it around town. It's just hard to do.
It kind of takes its toll.
I give props to any traveling tattooer because they are badasses.
I imagine for anyone who travels a lot, it's probably going to be about trying to create a more minimal working set.
Yeah, definitely more minimal, but still, it's like, with trying to be minimal, sometimes you forget shit. And yeah, you could buy most of the shit at the show, but it's like, man, now I'm spending extra money. Like, now I need this. Like, my last thing was like my armrest. I took the whole thing except a little screw that I just, for some reason, left this little screw behind, so I couldn't even use my armrest. I was like, damn it. Luckily, I didn't buy one when I was down there because I only did one tattoo. Which, I mean, it's always a learning curve. Like, now I know that, I mean, at least I have like maybe a mini clientele in the area a little bit, I guess, maybe. Which, I mean, great show.
Yeah.
Great. It was me. Like, I'm always like, it always falls back on me. You know what I mean? If I don't do well, it's my fault. Okay, fix that mistake. If I had an unsuccessful show, what did I do wrong? Like, I always, with art, like, you're an entrepreneur, you gotta take accountability, and you gotta realize that you're the only person that's gonna get you to the next point. And it's great to be a part of something bigger and better, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna be on a team with artists, like, you better be bringing shit to the table.
For sure.
I kind of ramble.
That's alright, I'm all for rambling.
John's over here just like suffering while I'm talking. He's good, he's keeping his composure.
I'm in survival mode.
Yeah. So, if I may, you don't have to talk about him if you don't want.
I will 100%.
Okay. So I recently learned that you actually suffer from bipolar 1.
Yes.
Which is, when I heard that, I was like, holy crap, that's nuts. Considering how confident you are, at least how confident perhaps you seem, especially at these shows. You have just a great, like, joyous personality in the public eye, but knowing that you actually have this real kind of deep struggle. So at the very least, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
And how, both in just day-to-day life, you deal with it as well as artistically, and to be a professional artist in that way.
I feel like my mental health issues have always been pretty significant, and they've put a like serious damper on my life. And art, to me, and not stopping and doing all this shit and traveling and just trying to pack as many things and as many different skill sets I can is honestly like the best way to cope with it. I mean, it's, if everyone gets depressed, everyone gets sad, but I mean, the people with like clinical depression or clinical bipolar, especially if it's like advanced, you already know that you don't just get sad. There's something wrong, and sometimes it's crippling, and you can't really overcome it without help. And for the longest time, I felt just like an alien, like kind of a shell of a person, like all growing up. And no one really saw that. They were just like, what's wrong with him? Like, I don't know what's wrong with this kid. He's shy, he's picky, he's this, he's that. I've always had social phobia. I've always had an issue speaking my mind. I've always been bullied in most situations. And not because, I mean, I was not cool or anything. Like, I felt like I was always kind of cool, but it was because I was like quiet and timid and didn't like really stand up for myself, so I was susceptible to it. One of my best friend growing up actually committed suicide when I was 19 and he was 15, so I mean, it's a pretty prevalent issue. Like, it's common. It's like a silent struggle. No one comes out and just says, hey, I'm going to kill myself today. But, you know what I mean? It's in the back of your mind. Like, I wake up days and I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. And then people are like, dude, look, you got all this shit going for you. And I'm still just like, fuck, I don't care. Like, it's nothing to me. Like, it really isn't. And I went through a period where I suffered 3 psychotic break episodes in a matter of a year. And it's like hitting a reset button on a hard drive. It just wipes it completely clean. And that's your personality, and that's everything that you know. And that's you. And it's a life or death situation because you're in this whole reality that just isn't what everyone else is seeing. It's just what you're seeing. So you can't really communicate with others. No one really knows what's going on. I was hospitalized, just been in so many situations that I feel like I have 9 lives. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know how I made it out this far. But, I don't know. I always try to be happy and positive and encouraging. And I know that it's not just me on this planet, and my problems are very minimal compared to what somebody else might be going through. Like me, it's like, okay, I have this depression, I have this bipolar, whatever, like, cool, big deal. Like, there's someone over there with, like, they got their arms blown off in the war. Like, that person's going through some shit. So, like, if I can at least make somebody smile through my artwork, or, like, make someone happy with what I say or what I do, then I'm gonna do it. Because I feel like you're not given a challenge, whatever anyone wants to believe in or anything, but, like, I'll put it in plain terms. Like, if you can't handle it, like, I think you're given what you can handle. And if you can overcome and you are that strong person, then I think it's your responsibility to help others and be proactive and talk about things and be a voice for somebody who possibly can't speak. A long time ago, I tried to kill myself a couple times and whatever. Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, you're a pussy, you're this, do a pussy, you don't got any balls. And it's just like, you know what I mean? It's not that, it wasn't me that wanted to kill myself. It was like, it was something, it was the condition. It's not normal to think those thoughts. Like, you should love life, like, you should embrace it. And I don't know, the tattooing, like, I literally couldn't work a normal job. Like, I say that, like, any job I went to, I was like, I don't know, instantly in, like, defense mode. Like, couldn't do it, couldn't work at my maximum capability. And I don't know, if anyone knows bipolar or deals with it, then I don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth talking about.
Yeah.
I feel. I'm actually surprised at the number of artists that seem to have some sort of some level of a condition.
Yeah, it's pretty common in artists. That's why we do these crazy things.
the ones of us that aren't drug addicts, we have our own mental issues.
Yes.
So, well, on a more positive note.
Yes.
you're in the midst of a big career move.
Yes.
You're going to be heading out to LA, leaving behind your sort of small town roots and heading out to a tattoo place there. So with this move, I want to know sort of what, I mean, that, because okay, I'm from Pittsburgh. What would even take you out that way? Like how did you even kind of get that opportunity?
I'm always, like I said, I've always been a dream chaser. Like from an early age, I'm just like, I'm doing it big. Like I don't care, and I don't care where I came from or what has limited me. And like I go out there and like it's intimidating. It's like I'm little fish in this gigantic pond, and these people have been bred to be these elite artists, and it makes me from like Belle Vernon, PA, just seem like such a like complete underdog in the situation, and it's hard to get confidence. But I'm at the point where I'm like, hey, like if I haven't died yet, like I'm going big with this. I don't care. So I noticed that there was a tattoo convention, a very prominent artist was putting on, and I'm like, well, I gotta go to a show. I just gotta travel. That's where I gotta go. LA. I'm gonna learn some shit out there and make connects. And I knew that was the city I needed to kind of explore to take my career to the next level, and I did. And then I kept going out, and then I ended up meeting the wonderful Lori and Mark Durant, and they kind of helped me get to in Los Angeles. And I am like absolutely, undoubtedly fucking gratified. Like they're phenomenal people, and I'm so appreciative of the opportunity just because, I don't know, I feel like I've sacrificed pretty much everything I've ever had to do art and to do this tattooing, and I wanted to take it big. And like I know where I sit. I'm a pissant. Like I don't you know what I mean? I don't expect to be some kind of like big name or anything. I just want something better. I just want to better my life and kind of get away from this bullshit. Like I want to like take. It's hard to focus on tattooing and focus on art when like everyone's just like, about it. Like no one's really like, yeah, fuck yeah, tattooing, fuck yeah, art, like in Belle Vernon. Like I mean there is, but
basically putting yourself into a situation that is more conducive to your art that way. But yes, like so with that, like talking before about you just kind of like lost some money with them. Like there's certainly some risks and challenges with making that big move from pretty much one coast to the other.
Oh, absolutely. Like I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it.
You seem, I would say, more confident than I would be to take that big of a risk.
It's like I'm leaving behind everything I've built. That's how I look at it. Like I've built a clientele. I've built relationships with people. I've made friendships.
Like start from scratch again.
And just start from complete scratch. But I just know it's just the right thing to do. And Belle Vernon's trying to kill me. Like I had an allergic reaction yesterday. Hit a deer a couple weeks ago. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like it's trying to keep me here. But it's not. It's not gonna keep me here. I gotta do it.
Well, at the very least, if something doesn't work out, you know, there's always a place for you.
Yeah, there's always home. That's why I figure while I'm young and kind of healthy, I'm gonna do it.
So, between tattoos, between your acrylic work and all your other stuff, what does living the dream mean for you? I mean, already now you're a professional working artist, which is more than a lot of people can really say. And that's a big step in general. But like that future goal, 5-10 years down the road, like even in terms of like even like unlimited financial opportunities.
Yeah.
Like anything you could do, what would you want to do going forward?
My ultimate my dream and the thing that will be like my, I guess, epitome career launching type situation or thing that I've built would be my own kind of my own brand and my own cartoon. And I want to be more than a tattoo artist. Like this is just one facet of what I do. Like I want to be a touring musician. Like, I want to be a performer. I want to do comedy. I want to be in movies. Like, I want it. I want to be
the Renaissance man.
I want to be a motivational speaker. Like, I want to teach people. I juggle. Like, I want to do that. I skateboard. I want to do that. I want to climb mountains and do crazy hikes. Like, you could be dead tomorrow. I want to travel. I want to do it. I just want to be, I don't care if anyone knows who the hell I am. I want to live my life. And I want to be in control of the decisions I make, and I just want to be a good role model to the younger people that come from like towns like mine that like think like there's no way out and like how am I going to do this? And I just want people to know that it's okay to be self-conscious, and it's okay to like admit that you have something wrong with you, and it's okay to live your dream. Like, that's just live it, do it, be in control of your own decisions. You're the master of your own destiny.
Excellent stuff. Now that actually covers a lot of stuff into my sort of one of my more final questions. A lot of people that watch my channel on YouTube are younger.
Yes.
They're younger artists, people who maybe don't have access, whether that be not as good of a school program or none. Or I would say even someone like you coming from a town where there's not a whole lot of opportunity. What kind of advice would you give to a young artist to pursue their craft, regardless of medium, regardless of their dreams to pursue art? But like if somebody says, I want to be an artist, like what kind of words of encouragement and advice would you give to them?
Somebody that says, I want to be an artist, my words of encouragement are, do it. Don't talk about it. Don't try to be an artist. Don't want to be an artist. Be an artist. Make that decision right now. So if you're watching it right now and you want to be an artist, stop wanting to be an artist and just do it. You don't have to get paid. You don't have to have your work praised. You don't have to even really be confident at this point. Just be an artist, and it's persevering through situations. It's not like a winner isn't a person that gets an award. A winner is a person that doesn't ever stop, just doesn't let the dream die. And I'm 26 and I'm still doing it, and I've been ridiculed along the way. I've been told I was an idiot, been told I was a retard, been told I was crazy, been looked at as like some kind of inferior person, I don't know, which is really wrong, and I don't know how a person could treat another human being like that, but it's common, and especially to a lot of young artists that aren't brought up in an art community, they're perceived by their peers and they're perceived by a lot of other people as weirdos, or I don't know, and it's disturbing to me, but that's the truth. And just know that if you're doing it, the people, if they're treating you bad, they're just jealous, period. If somebody is telling you that you're dumb or that you're crazy or a nerd for doing art, then that's just invalid out off the gate. So just have confidence. Just do it. Be an artist. Don't want to do it. Don't try to do it. Just do it.
That's excellent advice. Well, thanks so much for doing this. I think as a final plug, anything you want to plug here, where people can find your artwork online, where you'll be in LA, as well as anything else you want to throw in there.
My plug is, my Instagram is @IamJakeSteele. You can find everything you want on there. You can contact me, you can DM me, and ask me questions, or follow my art, or whatever you want to do. I'm always doing crazy stuff on there, and traveling, and meeting people, and I don't know, if you want to meet me at a show, find me and meet me, that would be sweet. In Los Angeles, I will be working in the West Hills area at a location called Hidden Los Angeles. Bunch of great people. And book a tattoo from me. That'd be awesome. I'd love to meet you.
Alright. Well, again, thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, thank you for doing this. It's sweet.
This was great. It was awesome to hear your story. I have heard from others that you have a great story, and I'm glad that I finally got to hear it from you.
Yay! I'm so happy I got to say it on camera.
Excellent.
Look at me now! No! I kid.
So for those of you watching, for more artist interviews like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And this has been from Cinderblock Studios. See you guys next time. Man, that's excellent.
Dude, fuck yeah! Sick as fuck! I'm so happy that went down.